What up, everybody? Just listening to this, listening to Nature Boy. I want to talk about. Made a regular video about it, but want to see if you guys want to live chat about it. If anybody comes on, shot it up. Talk about this idea that I think is a good idea. I think what he's doing is brave, and I've been talking about it for a minute. My brother, he actually was like, "Yeah, we need to." Matter of fact, he goes in and out of Brazil. He's like, so we've all had the idea, but Nature Boy actually stepped out and executed. There's a lot of flaws in what he did because I don't think he had a well executed. I don't think he had a well written down plan, but everything can't be written down. And right now he's having some struggles, with the whole polygamy thing. Am I with polygamy? Yeah, there's too many women being born and not enough men all over the world. And then in America, women outnumber men, what, 12 to 1? So how are you going to fix that? I mean, the preachers keep telling these females that, yeah, there's a husband out there for you, but statistically, that's just not true. It's just not true. Now you got TD Jakes saying that he's going the other direction. He's saying God to keep you. He's what he said. God to keep you single to keep you. Now you trying to tell these women. I mean, they've been listening to the same thing. That's why they go to your churches, because they've been listening to the same message. God's going to give you this man. He's going to be 6 foot. He's going to be chiseled chin, have a great job. All of you women are going to get the apex, male out there. These women been paying money to these churches and finding out it's just not true. What he should have said is God is going to give a few of you the same man. Why do you think there's so many baby mamas out there? Because there's not enough men, period, let alone good men. There's just not enough men, especially in America, to match up the females. Let me read this message. So while I have you here, the hell is... All right, so polygamy. I'm going to give you the abridged, I'm going to give you the Webster's. All right. So polygamy, the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. A pattern of mating in which an animal has more than one mate. The condition of bearing some flowers with, they're talking about flowers with stamen only, some with pedestals. Okay, they go into doing the same thing with flowers. Uh, I just looked at it, and this is a very interesting conversation. It's no, it's not nothing new. And you know what? And you know what? Uh, my apologies for the. Hey, man, I listen. People jump on me about typos. I don't care as long as I can understand what you're saying. I'm okay. So you great with me, Miss Williams. Yeah, you good. Looked it up, and it's very interesting. Yeah. Now the question is, would you do it? Would you have? Because it can go both ways. Listen, There are some tribes that have a woman and she mates with all the brothers. Like all the blood brothers, she mates with all of them. Not all at the same time. They leave a a broom outside to show that one is in there mating with her. But when she marries into all the brothers. And if they got 12 brothers, guess what? She got 12 husbands. If there's two, she has two husbands. And it's not a big thing like the European world looks at it. All the women are, oh my God, all the men are, she's this, that, and the third. No, that's the way they do things, probably because of for one, where they live. I think Burdosh Indians are one people that do it. You might have, uh, you might have a situation where the females are not as plentiful as the males. Look, nature has a way of doing its own thing. So you can have one in a tribe you might have 10 females and 30 males. Not everybody's going to get a wife. So what do? You know what I'm saying? Just letting you know I have a little problem about my texting. Oh, okay, it's cool. So and then on the other hand, you have the men who have several wives. I am one of those people who believe that polygamy is highly possible and should not be outlawed. But it's not everywhere in the States. Maybe considering on the time and place in my life after a wife, one man is no funny. Oh no, one man might not be fun anymore. So, you might be one of those, women who would go into a polygamy relationship where the woman has more than one husband. I believe in more than one life. When I went in my dating years, when I was dating real tough in between 30 and 40, I had more than, one woman coming around. And I had a tribe, or I had a harem, is what I had. And one woman is like, "You have a harem," and I was just like, "Well, yeah, because at that time, one, I was single and available. Two, the women I dealt with, none of those women had men in their life they wanted to be locked down to, and then the ones who so-called were married, they weren't happy in their marriage life. I feel you, and that I used to have some very good men in my life, a little as well, and he had no clues that I was sleeping around. Hell, don't judge me. Well, Miss Williams, I mean, that's what you did. It is what it is. I'm not judging you. If that's what you wanted to do, you did that. There's always a clash biblically with some of these, beliefs. But when you start looking into the scriptures, you start finding out, that a lot of these people during the biblical days were doing the same thing. And God was like, yeah, it's cool. David had 8 wives. He was a polygamist. You know what I'm saying? Abraham had Sarah and Hagar. You know what I'm saying? And Sarah told him to, impregnate Hagar. So, and God was like, yeah, because she's going to have your son. He's going to be Isaac. No, not you. We just have an open conversation. It appears all the time. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Most of the women I was dating, they all had, even if they had boyfriends, their boyfriends didn't know about me. Husbands, they didn't know about me. And, because I wasn't a dude who had a lot of money. That was never my concentration. My concentration was affection. So that's why I had a lot of females. When you exhume that type of thing and you're a very affectionate person, women will find you. The problem is they won't keep you. But polygamy is basically when you're married, And, in my younger years, would I have done it? Absolutely. I would have married, some, females that I knew I could have kids with. I would have definitely done it if I could afford them. If I would have had it, all the right, all my ducks in a row, absolutely. Or if the women wanted to do that and they could afford the relationship, because everybody thinks the male has to bring all of this, money and all that. Well, in America, you have more women who are working than you have men. Tone, don't let me find out you was Jody. You must have been in the military. You know what? In the military, I wasn't Jody. Well, wait a minute. Nah, no married women in the military. I stayed away from that. I followed the rules. I had a girlfriend, off and on. Then she left me and married another man. So, and then she came back to me 20 years later, and then went right back to him. So, I was not Jody in the military. I was a regular dude. I had chicks that I was running around with. It was, that's what soldiers did. That was that. But what Nature Boy is doing is very interesting to me. I was always talking about, leaving. I actually made a regular video on this. I'm going to upload tonight. But I was always talking about leaving America. And I like the way he left America. Now they said he's in an Airbnb or wherever he's at. It's like, all right, he's not living off of nature like a tent or something like that. They talk about, his past and how he was, doing things with some guy. I don't really care about what he did in his past. Uh, what I care about is, can he sustain? Yeah, yeah. I care about, can he sustain what he has? Now he has so many people who are down with what he's doing. He's got some, young, beta males. He's not going to let no alpha male get into his territory. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to let no other alpha male step into his territory. So he's just like, nah, you can't, you know. And most of the females that are coming, they young, they 21, between 21 and 25. And he's getting a lot of them to get there. But when they get there, they're finding out it's not really for them. And I'm like, well, you did your job. You attracted the young women who have the same mindset of getting out of America and, you know, being with, one guy and a bunch of wives. I'm surprised at how many black women are like, I'm with it. I'm in shock. And they're like, yeah, let's go. I'm with it. And then they get down there and there's just a bunch of mess because you're dealing with a bunch of women who are with it, but they don't know about it. And you got all these emotions going on and who's sleeping with who. And then you find out that in a polygamous relationship, in his polygamous relationship, he wants you to sleep with the other women. And some women they're not built for that. And I'm not really with that either. I don't believe that the females need to sleep together in order for, polygamy to be successful, because that is not always the case. And I just believe that if you're going to be married to all of these women, then you have your time with them, and everybody follows instruction. I'm also not with the fact that he took another man's wife, and that's where he's getting most of his problems out of. He should have never touched that girl. He should have never touched her. He should have never. He knew she was married, and he shouldn't have never messed with that young lady. And now she's out of her mind, emotional, and I would love to have me more than one boyfriend, and my old man have no problem with it. Okay, so you have a boyfriend now. Your old man, so you must be married right now. Are you legally married, Miss Williams? You legally married? Anyways, so I don't want to seem like an advocate of like fornication or nothing like that, because that's not what I'm saying. Another thing, he doesn't really believe in the Lord Yeshua the Christ. He believes he's God. And I'm like, when you look at the Bible, it says we are gods. It's just like God isn't saying that you are equal to him. You know, you're sons of God, you know. So that whole thing is murky, you know. Lord Yeshua the Christ is the way in the heaven. So I don't leave that behind at all, because you need that. And if he had that foundation, I believe things would go better for him. Uh, you know, with all the cursing and all the stuff, all the anger they got going on, it's not necessary. But the idea of what he did, I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. As a matter of fact, I thought about just leaving the States myself. I just wasn't sure where to go. I was looking at Germany, actually, just going and living in Germany. You know, just getting the hell out of America, because of what these people are doing, man. It's like I'm afraid to go outside sometimes. You know, it's bad. I mean, they getting everyone. You know what I'm saying? Oh yes, but you want more, and he says no. Yeah, he ain't having that. Not every man is with that program where another man can, you know, inject himself into the woman he loves. It's just not something that men normally say, yeah, that's cool. You know, you can go and, you know, put your semen inside of a woman that I love. You know, not unless they're, you know, cockled, and then that's a whole different spirit. You know, but normally, no. Fantasy wise, yeah, they do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's a normal thing for some guy to, you know, who is into that fantasy, to be like, yeah, sleep with my wife. I've had it done to me. You know, a guy pull up and say, hey, I want you to sleep with my wife. That really has happened to me before. I'm just standing at the bus stop, and this guy pulls up, him and his wife. Hey, we'll give you a ride home. You can screw my wife. So, yeah, things like that really go down. But I don't live that, you know, type of life anymore. But that really did happen to me like 25, 26 years ago. Um, Nonetheless, like I said, you know, you do these things, and these, you know, you can't keep the woman. You know, you can keep going back. You know, the guy was like, hey, you can keep anytime you want to sleep with my wife, you call me. Like, this is what he's telling me. But the empty, you know, the emptiness in there is, for one, the word is not gonna let you keep doing that when you belong to God. Two, this is not your wife. So, you know, the scriptures read, don't covet another man's wife. So it's just a bad deal all the way around. What you want is your own wife. And if your wife agrees to you having another wife, then there you go. You know what I'm saying? So if I got married and my wife was like, I want you to have another wife, you know, not because she's upset at me, not because of, you know, something's wrong with the relationship, simply because she's like, I can see, you know, this would benefit us, and this does happen, then I would, you know, it'd be a conversation we'd have to have, because I'm not going to tell her she can have another husband, you know. But she's like, nah, I want you to have another wife, you know, because I want her to, you know, do this, that, and the third. I don't want to sleep with her. You know, I'm not going that route. I just want you to have another wife. And then that happens. And then if, you know, if those two women, you know, somewhere down the road say, I want you to go ahead and have another wife, and we can't afford it, then I would say probably yes, if it's not a big old mess. You know, but if it's a mess, I'd be like, nah, I'm divorcing all three of you. But if it goes well, I would be like, yeah, why not? Um, but I'm not young and spry anymore, so I'm not going to be bouncing up on top of no woman for hours anymore. It just I have no interest in that, you know. So if it was to happen now, it would have to be with women who don't want to have kids or don't want to have any more kids. but I'm not really interested in taking on kids. I'm not really interested in taking on somebody else's children. You had to take a cell. You had to take a call, so catching up on our conversation. Now it's all good, but I'm not really interested in taking on someone else's children at this time. I thought about it. I had an offer to do so, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I'm in my 50s, so you get women in your 30s and 40s. Those women have children already, so you got to make up your mind. Now, I'm not saying that I won't. I'm just saying it doesn't interest me. If the right experience comes along and I get a big okay from the big man upstairs, then if it happens, then I'm like, all right, but I don't want to get married, and then as soon as I say I do, she just becomes a lazy slob, and then I got to keep you according to the word. Nah, you're old. Yeah, I'm old. I'm old. I'm in my 50s. Yeah, I'm old, but I be on them weights though. I eat good too. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on them weights though. You know what I'm saying? All right, I ain't okay. I'll be on them weights. And I eat. I eat okay. I don't eat as much as I should, but I eat right. You know, but I'm in my 50s, so I don't really. If I was in my 30s, I would be thinking about having more kids. That's a compliment. Look old. Thank you, baby. If I was in my 30s, yeah, I would take on two or three wives and get them all pregnant. Absolutely. At the same time. Hopefully, get them all pregnant at the same time. That would be the modus operandi. It'd be like, yeah. But when I looked at Nature Boy's story, he didn't want to have kids. And all these young females coming down there, they're like, we want to have babies, which is natural. They're like, fine, you want to be our husband. Well, let's go. We trying to have babies by you. And they weren't even playing. I'm just amazed at how domesticated these young sisters were. They were like, but like they know he's in his 30s. They're just like, let's go, let's have these babies, let's be natural. And so I'm really digging that part. I'm not liking a lot of stuff that he did on the in between, but I am really looking at that like what you did was you pioneered is what I'm looking at, and I'm considering like this brother pioneered. He showed us that for one it's possible. There's gonna be some hiccups in the game. He showed us a place that we could go where the sun shines a lot. It's not that far, you know. Marriage is a joke. I feel you. Um, he did, even though some rough patches, he did a lot of things to show you that for one, there are people who are with it. He has a lot of people on his lives, and they're all like, "Yeah, we're with you, Chief." And in some parts I'm with him, in some parts I'm not. Then you get other people who are like, "Nah, we not with you," and try to dog him out. I don't try to dog him out. I'm just like, tell the truth and let it lie where it lies. But for the most part, I like what he's doing. For the most part, you know. I even like the fact that when he handles his problems with the young lady, he was pretty much letting everybody see what was going on. That comment is old, but yes, I am involved. Involved, but at the same time, I have more freedom in my relationship to call it open. Okay, so you have a couple lovers. So how many lovers do you got? Hell no, I'm not legally married. Oh, you're not legally married. So how many guys do you see in a week? Like you make love to in a week? Whether it's your normal, Now I'm asking you that, not necessarily like you need to tell me the number, but just something for you to think about. Like when you say open relationship, I'm like, how open is your relationship? Marriage is something that the white man made up in order to get more money. Divorce is something that they made in order to get more money. But I mean, well, I guess I can't ask that either. You know, I don't know. I don't know any information on you, but I'm just gonna speak with my experience. I really like what he's doing. I like the whole getting out of America, not to make the rest, not to make this a color, but their history that proves that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no problem with that. I agree. Yeah, so I like what Nature Boy is doing. I like the whole being closer to the sun, being in a place that's warmer. I dig that. I think he should have bought a plot of land with that 300,000 that he got. It's a beautiful place. Germany, yes, it is. I love it. I think he should have bought a plot of land. I mean, the simple fact that he's not that far, Costa Rica's not that far. That was a great idea. He should have bought some land and, you know, because that's what I would have did if somebody would have. I mean, they cash apped him 300,000. I'd have been like, we get ready to be established up in here. I would have bought me like 3 acres of land, and I would have built a house. I would have built a some type of house, and all the men that came down, they would have helped me build it. And because they're living in a large place right now, a hotel, but yeah, they would have. I would have. I would have built the structure. Stay in a hotel or whatever until the structure's built. But I would have built a nice structure. You keep erasing your comment. So nonetheless, it might have took some time, but that's what I would have did with the money, and I would have showed everyone. Why do you keep putting a comment up there and erasing it? What's going on? I would have showed everyone this is what I did with your money, and I would have showed them the receipts. This is a $300,000. This is what happened. The land cost me $10,000. You know, each acre or whatever. 5,000 each acre. We got 3 acres. We got our garden over here. We built a home here. It has 5 rooms, and we're building other homes on it, and we're buying more land as we progress, as people, you know, send money or give us money or we earn money. I would have had people earning money. I wouldn't have had people giving money. As we earn money, we don't just sit around and screw it all day. There's no screwing each other's wives. There's none of that. If you're going to come here and be with me, be with me. If you're coming down here and you're single and you not want to sleep with anybody, just let it be known. You're not looking for a husband. You're just looking to be away from America, looking to be natural. That's fine. Because not every girl that comes down there has to be all of a sudden sleeping with people. That's another problem he had. Because, the young guys down there, they're just like, these women are walking around literally naked. So they're just like, yo, can we, and the women are like, nah. So there's a problem there. There needs to be some type of establishment to, if this is what you're ready to do, you let these guys know that you're ready to choose one of them. And then you choose one of them and, you go forth with that type of thing and, set up some ways for everything to go smoothly instead of just a bunch of babies just popping out because that's the problem America has now. We're just having children and nobody's married. But getting out of America is a good idea because so many people are coming up missing. Uh, the police, The police are just out of control. It's bad now. It's look, it's been bad, but it's to the point where there is no justice. There's no justice whatsoever for uh, black people. There's just no justice, and it's just it's just blatant godlessness, and there's nothing that we could do. We marched, we peacefully protested. We still got slaughtered on the street in our churches. People hung. It's just bad. It's just really bad. So I am definitely not comfortable in America anymore. And I'm encouraging people to leave America. Uh, I don't know if it's all that safe in Costa Rica, but we need to find a safe place where we could go, and we can just live, instead of being slaughtered and then it televised and then nobody's doing anything about it. They're paying these officers to slaughter us. They're giving them money after they slaughter us and laugh at us. And then they're giving them back pay and all this. It's just not cool. So he has a great idea. And so, I don't know. Just want to know what you guys thought about it. You guys take it easy.